He doesn't want the. I know he doesn't want the.
Hare
So
Krishna.
I think Vignesh was out today. Let me see. I think she sent me a note. Vignesh. Vignesh. Oh, it's just he won't be around. Yeah,
Oh,
he's going to his cousin's sister's wedding. Yeah,
oh.
yeah.
So
Okay.
you still having class?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah. Okay.
otherwise, if you start listening to everyone, you don't do anything in life.
Yeah.
This is my strategy.
Yeah.
I learned that from my guru. He always
Yeah.
told me, do your things. In life,
You're right.
you have to do your things.
Yeah. That's true.
If you start listening to this one, that one, finish.
Yeah. They say when nobody listen to your class, do that four wall.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My guru was like that. Okay, so you have a good picture of the whole. I mean, not the whole. In Bhakti Shastri, we just study Purva Vibhag. Is it clear for you the whole breakdown of the book so far, or you need some review?
I'm okay. I'm just following. Just the books are different. I don't have the books that you have. That's the only thing.
Do you have this book? This done by Danuda Maharaj.
Yeah, I think I got like soft copies. Vignesh sent me.
Yeah. So this is I'm following this one quite closely. So basically, we are in Purva Vibhag. Purva means eastern. So Vibhag means division, but Rupa Goswami is more poetic. He calls them ocean.
Okay.
So we are dealing. That's all we're going to do in Bhakti Shastri. Only this Purva Vibhag. We're not going to go any further.
Okay.
This is basically we're doing 1/4 of the book. Yeah?
Yeah.
The book is 3 times Gita. It's quite a big book. So within the Purva Vibhag is called Eastern Ocean, and within that the main topic is Bhagavad Bhakti Bed. So bed means you know difference. So the different types of bhakti, of Bhagavad Bhakti. Yeah. So we discussed way back, introduction, chapter 1. Then we entered Sadhana Bhakti. We are still in Sadhana Bhakti, all the way from chapter 2 to 16. It's Sadhana Bhakti.
Okay.
And within that, it's the biggest, it's called Lahari in Sanskrit. Lahari means a wave. So it's the biggest wave of the book. There's 14 chapters in that wave. So it's called Sadhana Bhakti. And within that, you have Vedi and Raganug. Raganug is still part of sadhana. Then there will be Bhav Bhakti, chapter 17, chapter 18, and then we will finish with Prem Bhakti, chapter 19. So now we are into chapter 11.
Yeah.
So we are discussing here basically, as you remember, I don't know if you recall, but I can remind you, we are into the 64 angas of Bhakti that we
Yeah.
started in chapter 6. And within those 64, you have 20 which are extremely important, and 44 which are basically additional. So within the 20 of primary importance, you find 10 and 10. 10 are pravriti, things that we should do. and 10 are nivriti, things that we should avoid. And amongst the 44 additional items, there are 30 from 20 to, no, sorry, 40 items, which we are into now, actually, the items of sadhana. And then we will discuss at the very end of this section, we will discuss about Panchanga Bhakti, the 5 most potent. Amongst the 64, there are 5 most potent items of worship. So here today, we're going to discuss about, it's called Navanga Bhakti. You may have heard that term, Navanga Bhakti, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu.
Yeah.
So we are into Dasyam. Chapter 11 starts with Dasyam. So Dasyam is divided into 2. Dasyam means obviously Das. We are Das, Dasi, so we serve. One is Karmarpanam. So that's a common term we have heard in 927 in the Gita. I don't know if you remember. 927 is the epitome of Nishkam Kama Yoga. Yad Kaloshi, Yadashnoshi, Yajuoshi, Dadasi. This is exactly. So Arpana means offering. Krishna says in that verse, Arpana means offering. So here, Rupa Goswami explained that we should offer activities. Karma Arpanam. Karma means action. Karma Arpanam. So we should offer our activities. And number 2, not only we should offer activities, but in the mood of Kenkari, Kenkaryam. Kinkara means servant. There's one lady here, her name is Kinkari. So Kinkaryam means servant. We should offer actions, but in the mood of a servant. So now, if we go back to Karmarpanam, offering one's action, that's still divided in 2. One is you offer, your Vanashram duties, occupational duties. And the other is, it's more transcendental, you offer those Navanga Bhakti. You offer those 9 angas of Bhakti. Savanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Parasivanam. So the second one, obviously, is more devotional. I don't know if you remember, Goloka in the Gita, there's one verse dealing with the 2 Svadharma. Remember that passage? It sounds like the same point, huh? It's 331.
331.
Or perhaps, let me see, 231, sorry. 231.
Aparayam or something.
231, we are dealing with the 2 types of Svadharma. Yeah. Svadharma Mapit Shakveksha. This is the verse 231. Krishna says, considering your specific duty as a Kshatriya, you should know that there's no better engagement for you than fighting on religious principles. And so there's no need for hesitation. So in that purport 231 at the end, and if you have the guitar, you can look it up. There's 2 types of Svadharma. So it sounds the same as this section of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. One is your Svadharma, which is basically your conditional duties, You are, let's say, a household lady and you are in Krishna consciousness, okay, but you're quite maxed out with your household chores. You have 2, 3 kids and, so basically your whole day is taking care of the kids, taking care of the house. But what you can do, that's bona fide, you can offer your activities, raising your kids, that could also considered according to this section of that is into dasyam, you know. So this is a good point because many ladies or even many men, they are totally, even as devotees, they're totally engrossed in material life. Let's say they have big occupational duties at work, and the guy has no time even to, you know, to do much in terms of bhakti, in terms of sadhana. But at least you can offer your services this way, you know. So it's a bit controversial because some acharyas do accept the two divisions, you know, like your Swadharma in Varnashram. And of course, the other is totally unquestionable, is your Swadharma as, you know, constitutional activities like Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. This one, no one will object that it is totally bhakti. But the first division, you know, let's say you offer your Swadharma in terms of Varnashram, that's questionable. Some acharya accept, yes, we agree. Some don't. You know. So the bottom line should be to be on the safe side. That even though we may be swamped under our conditional duties, like, you know, you have to make a living, you have to take care of the kids. But of course, if you take care of the kids in a Krishna conscious way, then it becomes transcendental, you know. But ideally, we should Shravanadijal, we should cultivate the Shravan, you know, at least chant and hear Krishna Katha. Do you follow?
Yes, Prabhu.
So, of course, the bottom line, if we want to make sure it is pure bhakti, we know the answer. Anyabhilashita shunyam ganakamana vritam anukulyena krishnanu shiranam bhakti lotama. This is the bottom line. Again, it is reminded here the second time, so it must be important, that some acharyas do not accept the fruits of our prescribed duties, you know, as a bona fide item of sadhana bhakti. Some acharyas are stricter. You know, I don't know if you notice when you read the acharyas, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is very lenient. Even he says in one purport of Bhagavatam, he says even Kamakand has some tinges of bhakti, because at least they accept the Vedas. Prabhupada is very lenient also as an acharya. But other
Prabhupada
acharyas,
follow mostly Vishwanath Chakravarti, you know?
yeah, and also Baladev.
Dev Vidya Bhushan,
Yeah. Srila Prabhupada is very fond of those two. Very, very fond of those two. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, 18th century. Baladev was a disciple, a Shiksha disciple of Vishwanath. So, but Baladev is stricter. You know, Baladev is stricter. And you find other devotees, other acharyas like Jiv Goswami is stricter. See, it depends on the mood. Some acharyas are so strict, they say, no, we don't accept that. If you offer the fruits of your prescribed duties, no, sorry, it is not sadhana bhakti. So, for instance, of course, you may not be surprised, but Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur doesn't accept. As you know, he's más strict. He says that if you read Brahma Samhita, the 5th chapter, verse 61, he says that if you offer your activities of an ashram, yes, but it's called gona dharma. Gona dharma means, gona means secondary, subsidiary. It doesn't accept that it is primary. Some acharyas also divide like this. Huh? The some acharyas, they divide bhakti in two. There is Navanga Bhakti, Svarupsiddhi Bhakti, they call it Svarupsiddhi Bhakti.
What is Swarup Siddhi Bhakti?
Svarupsiddhi Bhakti means when this is the top. Means you are doing exclusively Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam. This is top. It has to do with your constitutional position. Whether you are a household lady, whether you are doing your studies, you are 85-year-old, you are a retired person, that you are totally engrossed in Svarupsiddhi Bhakti. That's totally pure. And then the other one is, some acharya call it Gona Bhuti Bhakti. So in other words, your Bhakti has become on the back burner, if I could say. It's still there. But it's on the back burner. So Baladev makes that distinction. He said it becomes Gona Bhuti Bhakti. In other words, your Bhakti is not the main focus of your day. Because you work, let's say you have a big job, you are, some kind of a director or something. So you have no time you have very little time for Svarupsiddhi Bhakti, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. So your Bhakti is on the back burner. What you can do is just Kamarpanam, you offer your fruits. How does it translate? Well, at least you give a good amount every month because you are so caught up in life, But some acharyas are very strict. They say, no. Then in that case, it's only guna dharma, subsidiary devotional service, It's not directly bhakti. Bhakti Siddhanta is quite heavy. He said, no, this is not bhakti. It's conducive, yes, indirectly, but it's not bhakti. And of course, if you follow Krishna in the Bhagavatam, would have Gita. Yes, if you read 11:23, 23, 11:25, 23, Krishna says there, ordinary work performed as an offering to God without desire for the result is understood to be in the mode of goodness, whereas activities of bhakti, chanting, hearing Krishna Katha, the glories, are Vishuddha, Nirgun Bhakti. You follow? So even Krishna tend to agree also that it cannot be on the same level. You offer your karmarpanam, your prescribed duties. You cannot say it's on the same level as someone who's doing Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam all day, Do you agree or not?
Yeah, that's true. It's not the same.
It's not the same.
Mixed devotional service,
Well, it's called, gona. Gona means subsidiary, secondary. Vishwanath is very extremely lenient. I mean, not lenient, sorry. Very, I would say, broad-minded. He tends to say, no, it's bhakti. It's not first-class bhakti, but he puts it under bhakti still. So now, Srila Prabhupada, what does he say? Is our acharya, so we should know. In the opinion of the karmis, offering the results of karma is called servitorship. But according to Vaishnava acharyas like Rup Goswami, servitorship means constant engagement in some kind of service to the Lord. So even Srila Prabhupada, even Rupa Goswami also draw distinctions. Now, Srila Prabhupada is very kind because he tends to reconcile the two by saying those who are engaged in fruitive activities or prescribed duties, according to Vanashram, are not actually pure devotees. But still, Prabhupada is very kind, but still, because they are offering the result to the Lord, they are accepted as devotees. When one has when one has no such desire, but act spontaneously out of love of God, such a person must be accepted as a pure devotee. So, Srila Prabhupada, you can see, is extremely kind also, because he said, no, they're not pure devotees. He said they are devotees, but they're not pure devotees. But he tends to say they are devotees. Basically, it's called Nishkam Kama Yoga, Nishkam Kama Yoga, there's still the notion of doership. You follow? This is Krishna, this is my car. I'm offering it to you, to the temple. You follow? There's still some notion of illusion because doership. It's mine, Krishna. This is my car. Please not note that it is my car and I'm offering it to you. You follow?
Is it similar with Sakama devotee?
Yeah, you could say like that. There are some time of slight. There's a touch of nishkam because he's offering a nice car, so he's detached from the car, you could say. But there's still a notion of doership, which is not proper. You cannot say this is my car in the first place. You follow? Because we don't when we're going to leave the world, we're not going to take any car or anything.
Oh.
So whereas the devotee, apparently is giving nothing because he's broke, but all day is serving Krishna. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam. So he's much more advanced, you follow? So that is why at the level of Nishkam Kama Yoga, Yad Kaloshi, Yadashnashi, Yad Joshi, Dadasya, there's still some traces of illusion because there is still a notion of doership. Please. No, it depends. Let's say you are offering your food with love. Then you're a pure devotee. You follow?
Yeah.
You may be offering your food like it falls under 927. Then you are okay, a great Nishkam Kama Yogi. Great. But be careful. That person is offering food like you, but with love. Like I remember one story with my late mother-in-law. She left the world. And when I met my second wife, of course, by definition, I had to meet her mother. And they're Indian, so they're not ordinary. And I could see how she was offering the food. I could see for myself that there's quite a few flaws in her offering,
Mm.
So, and I thought I'm going to show her such a fool of mine. And then I realized that she listened to me, of course. I'm Jijaji, so, the son is very well, like the king, basically. But then when I witnessed later, she was crying out of love when she offered to Krishna. So, I realized that I'm nowhere near that lady.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? You may be yourself steeped in Vedi, following the rules, but what's the use if you have no love? So, as soon as you have spontaneous love, whether you offer Vanashram duty or Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, then you are pure devotee. This is the golden rule, basically. You follow?
Yeah.
So now let's yes. Tell me.
The main point is that it should not be like a ritual. It should just be love.
Yeah,
Isn't that bhakti?
that way. This is the problem, you know. Even conversely, you are doing Navanga Bhakti, Swarupsiddhi Bhakti, okay? Like Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. This is top. This is not even conditional duties. We are talking about constitutional duties. It belongs to your, these duties are having to do with the soul, not the body. But if you're not a spontaneous practitioner, I mean, spontaneous lover of God, then even though you are doing Navanga Bhakti, this is not pure devotion. You follow?
Yeah.
So of course you are well situated. It's not like you're doing nonsense. You are well situated. But you are, let's say, you may be, you know, it's a very interesting topic because you may be sticking to the definition of Anyabhidashita Shunyam, but you have no spontaneous love. So what happened? But you stick to that, you know, Anyabhidashita Shunyam, Ganakama Navritam. You are, it's anukul, it's favorable. There is no gyan and karma in your offering. You are cultivating the seed of bhakti for the pleasure of Krishna. Then you are basically a pure devotee, but on the platform of Vedi bhakti, not Raganug. So
I'm just asking you, in ISKCON, do we have a lot of Raganuga?
It's not written on their face, Goloka.
No, it was something that you have
Well,
noticed.
I don't know if you had met Indra Prabhu. He was definitely Raganug Bhakti.
Ayendra Prabhu, yeah.
No, of
That,
course.
but I
Indra
never
was
meet him.
a
Yeah.
different league. He had about 1,000 shilas.
Mm.
He would worship, then only he would take prasad. Indra was totally on a totally different platform than ISKCON mainstream devotees.
Mhm.
Totally totally untouchable, totally unpredictable. It's devotees were afraid of him practically.
Mm.
He's such on a lofty platform that no one can relate to him. Extremely advanced soul. But
The thing is that even so their own Raganuga Bhakta, they don't show it because people will start criticizing them, tell them they are just
oh yeah, they're
Sahadya.
extremely discreet.
They're just Sahadya or something, you know?
Yeah, Indra was, as you know, was quite eccentric and vocal. So no one could ignore him because whether you are any guru in ISKCON, he has no fear. You know, he's like that.
Mm.
But this is the one I can think of when it comes to Raganug. But else I cannot say because it's not written on their face, you know. They will never declare.
Even internally they are.
Yeah, but they will never tell you unless you are yourself one of them. So now King Karyam, and that's remember it's back to chapter 11. We are still in chapter 11. There's two aspects to Dasyam. There's Kamarpanam, you offer your fruits, and King Karyam, it should be there also. King Karyam means, you know, the mood of the servant. So it's like very advanced. Not only you are just vaguely a servant, you know. No, you are considering yourself personal servant of Krishna. It's very high. It has to do with the attitude, not in the activities themselves, you know. Like you dress the deities, one is doing it casually, dutifully, but the other is doing it as the personal servant of the Lord, helping his Guru Maharaj to dress the deities, you know. Like again, Ayendra was like this. He used to dress, I remember, I was 10 years in Vrindavan. He used to dress Shishirada Shamsundar. And you could see, of course, it's a well-known fact, you know, even Mukunda that will tell you, the head pujari, Ayendra was definitely totally engrossed in the puja.
Yeah, he was exceptional.
Yeah, it's a different league. It's a different league. So then it's mentioned here, very interesting. Even if one engages in the Navanga Bhakti, okay, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, his activity is Kamarpanam, unless he serves with deep concentration in the mood of a personal attendance. So if you're not there, you consider yourself King Karyam, King Kar of the Lord, personally, you are a servant. If you're not there, then you are called Kamarpanam. You may be even doing Navanga Bhakti, but unfortunately, you're not so personal. Then you cannot pretend, obviously. We cannot pretend. It's even worse. So we are just on the platform of Kamarpanam then. And of course, Rupa Goswami is going to quote very important verse, Ihayasya Haradasya Kamana Manasa Gira, Nikila Vasvapya Vastasu, Jivan Mukta Sochate. This is Skanda Puran. Naradiya Puran, sorry. Then he goes, if you serve Krishna with body, mind, intelligence, you are a liberated person, Jivan Mukta. Even though you may be engaged apparently in so many material activities. Like again, Ayendra is best example. Ayendra would go to Loy Bazaar. I remember. Sometimes I would cross his path on the street. And I'm going there to buy something for my deity, So people say, oh, look, he's like us. He's just doing, going to Loy Bazaar to shop for shopping. But everything he was Jivan Mukta because body, mind, intelligence engaged, but he had love, spontaneous love. Because he was considering himself King Karam. He was living out this reality. I'm a King Kar of the 24 Kirtan program, And he was expecting, that's why they had such a big turnover in that party. Because to work under high and dry, it's not easy. He was expecting tremendous surrender. He was like that. I know Gopal. I don't know if you Gopal is born in ISKCON. He was his personal Mridanga player. He told me. Andrea was very demanding. Is it clear now? We're going to go to Sakyam. If you have anything to say on Dasyam, we finish Dasyam. Are you there?
I think Dashyam is the main thing to start so that you can become Sakyam.
Yes.
Without being a Das.
Exactly. Even Srimati Radharani is Dasi. You can see. She's herself Ladini Shakti personified, but still she's Dasi. Mahaprabhu is Dasi. He comes, Dasi we could say, because he's got the mood of Radha, Radhabhav Duti Suvaritam Nome Krishna Svarupam. He's Krishna, yes, but in the mood of Radha and the complexion. So you're right. Even Balaram is Das, Supreme Personality of Servitor Godhead, they call it. So Sakyam, So there is obviously two types of Sakyam, Vishvas and Maitri. Vishvas means it's higher Sakyam. You are like Lord Balaram, obviously. You're a well-wisher. You're taking care of your small brother. you know, Daoji. And Maitri means you are friend with Krishna, but on a peer level, you know, like Sudam and
Same level, eh?
sorry.
Yeah, you consider yourself the same level as Krishna.
Yeah. So Vishvas means, you know the verse, there's a verse. Shraddha Vishvaskoe Sudidanischoi. This is the definition of Shraddha in Madhya-lila. Shraddha Vishvaskoe Sudidanischoi. Vishvas also means, you know, strong faith or confidence, I would say. That yes, I'm totally convinced that Krishna is going to be, is my well-wisher. This is a nice program. Even though you are in difficulty, Queen Kunti is like that. We are doing, in BV, we are doing Queen Kunti now. Queen Kunti is like that, you know, she, apparently, everything is over, you know, the Yudhishthira is going to be reinstated on the throne. Everyone has died, all the rascals died, so everything apparently looks rosy. No, she said, no. All the sons of all the fathers that we killed in this battle, they're going to retaliate now. And Krishna is about to leave. He has left Dwarka years ago. He wants to go back to Dwarka. And you know, he's about to leave. Can you imagine? He's on the chariot. Daruka is about to whip the horses. And she comes. Of course, prior to that, Uttara had prayed to Krishna, please save my boy, because this rascal of Ashvatthama he sent. He hurled the Brahmastra. So then Krishna saved the fetus, the Parikshit. Then he's about to leave. Then Kunti addresses her prayers, 25 prayers. So this is exactly the mood. She goes, yes, everything apparently looks fine, but since you are leaving, it's Ashub. It's Maha Ashub. So she has this implicit understanding that without Krishna is Ashub. It's very inauspicious. Even though my son is the king of emperor of the world, even though I'm the queen mother of the whole planet practically. But still, she's saying, oh, it's a very gloomy time you are living. And then she goes, Vipada Santu, please bring more problems. Can you imagine the level? Please bring more problems. So at least if you bring more problems, then I'm more fit to remember you. Then Apuna Bhava Darshanam. If I remember you, then it means no more samsara. So you know, she has this in Kunti, that Krishna is my only benefactor. Of course, Vishwas means also even of a lesser devotee, you know, someone who follows very strictly because he knows that's all I have. I have no love. I'm not spontaneous. So what is there left for me? I just have to follow strictly. And one day, hopefully, it's called Ashabandha. One day, hopefully, hope against hope, I will get there. That's also Vishwas. You know, you have this firm conviction that Krishna is going to reciprocate. Like Draupadi, you know, Draupadi was on that level. She was Sakyam, yes, Sakyam with Krishna, but in terms of Vishvas, you know, she said, yes, Krishna must protect me. Even though this rascal of Dushashan was disrobing her, she tried to say, no, what's the use? Then she raised two arms. Remember? Are you there?
Yeah, that is Draupadi's story is really like
Yeah.
have to surrender to Krishna, like
Yeah.
in
And
time of like you feel like desperate, you don't have nobody.
yeah, this can you imagine the level. And her name is Krishna with a long A. Huh? You know that?
Krishna, yeah,
Krishna
Krishna,
is
yeah,
a little A, Krishna.
yeah,
Krishna with a long A is Draupadi.
yeah.
They had a very, very sweet relationship. Sakyam, the level of Sakyam. See, of course, Srila Prabhupada he gives a little twitch, how do you say, a little twist to it. He says, ordinarily, the devotee sees the Lord as the well-wisher. But by preaching Krishna consciousness, it is the other way around. The devotee becomes the well-wisher of the Lord. It's very interesting. If you preach, means you become you are the order carrier. You are wearing the flag bearer, we say. You bear the flag of the Lord, so you become the well-wisher because you preach His glory. So now, Vishwas basically means faith, but very strong faith. Now, Rupa Goswami is going to say there is two types of faith, as we know, Shraddha and Vishwas. Shraddha, do you know the meaning etymologically of Shraddha? Shraddha. If you break it down, Shraddha. Shraddha means where
not full faith, isn't it?
Yeah, Shraddha means faith, but if you break it down, it gives a very nice Shraddha. It means what is the disposition of your heart? Where is your heart reposing itself? What is this disposition of your heart? Shraddha. But Shraddha, according to Rupa Goswami, is still a beginning types of faith. And then when it matures, it becomes Vishwas. And we discussed all since for the last 10 minutes, Vishwas becomes mature. Like, for instance, when we joined, we know the story, Shraddha, we had some faith, we bought a book, we get some alva somewhere, and then gradually Shraddha, then Sadhu Sangha, then, let me go to a conference, let me visit the temple. So, but it started with Shraddha, little tiny little inkling of Shraddha. But then, obviously, it's going to mature into Vishwas, strong. Yeah. Now, Maitri.
So when you become Nista, that the Viswas come?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Of course, there's no, how do you say, hard and fast rules. You can become Vishwas before Nishta also. Nishta is very vast. Nishta is a very wide spectrum of degree. Govinda Maharaj explained that Nishta goes all the way, practically the upper layer of Nishta goes all the way to, way up there, like Ruchi, and you are so fixed. You're so fixed that you start tasting really deeply Krishna consciousness, Ruchi, and we can be Nishta also on a very low level, your beginning Nishta. Okay, so then it's going to develop Maitri. So Maitri, according to Rupa Goswami, is advanced. We should not be thinking it's low. No. Vishwas is first. What to speak of Maitri? This is very high. It means you are serving Krishna as a in Sakya Prem. You know, you serve the deity. You are in a mood of fraternity. You are in a mood of equality. And be careful, it's very advanced, very advanced. Like you have seen the Gopa. Krita Punya Pungya, they have heaps of pious deeds. They have performed pious deeds for millions of years before becoming a gop. They are so high, a gop. Then Prabhupada goes, sometimes it is found that a pure devotee lies down in the temple of the Lord in order to serve him as a confidential friend. Such friendly behavior of a devotee may be accepted as raganug, because you're not supposed to sleep in the temple. Although, according to regulative principles, no one can lie down in the temple of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This spontaneous love of Godhead may be grouped under Sakya or Mitri. Yeah, some devotees are very advanced. Again, they won't blow their own trumpets. You don't know. They won't tell you. Then, of course,
Did Prabhupada reveal his Siddha what mood of Prabhupada was serving Krishna? Sakya Rasa?
well, there's one song, I don't know if you know, there's one song that he has written, a poem. When he came to Boston in 65, he wrote a couple of poems, and in there he describes, when, my dear Lord Krishna, when will we be again frolicking in the pastures, rolling on the ground like before, you know? So from that song, it's a strong inkling that he may be a gop. But again, you know, I know this poem is there, but you know, who are we? Who am I to tell you? You know, is a pure devotee that's, you know, it's coming from the spiritual world. It's Vishnu Parikar.
And also, everybody has such a relationship with Krishna, and we don't reveal it, we just keep it in our heart.
Yeah,
Because some is servitative, some like child, Krishna my child, some I'm the parent, some like Krishna's gopi or something.
It's very personal. Yeah, I guess if you are, after some time, you rub shoulders with devotees of the same feathers, you know, like we say, birds of the same feathers flock together. I think this thing will happen after some time, because you feel spontaneously attracted by this devotee, because, you know, automatically there's some like-mindedness to do things the same way, or, you know, this will come later, but because one of the symptoms of Raganug is that he follows the Ragatmika Bhakta. You know, practically there's a shift at this level of Raganug. You start to concentrate on the group leader of Vrindavan. You know, it could be Yashoda Ma, it could be Nanda Maharaj, it could be a Gopi, it could be even a blade of grass. Why not? Blade of grass, they are in Vrindavan, they are in their Svarup. You know, let's say even Brahma, can you imagine, he's praying, yes, for me it's good enough. Blade of grass. Perhaps I will be trampled upon by the gopis' feet. He's saying it's good enough for me. He's Brahma himself in the material world, can you imagine? And you know,
another thing is it like the Narayan Maharaj group, they're teaching like Raga Mitka Bhakti, Raga Bhakti.
Yeah,
So
But this
Is that approved by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur? That
no, the problem with Narayana Maharaj, even Sridhar Maharaj said that. I met Sridhar Maharaj in 88. He was Guru Bhai of Prabhupada. No? Even the own Guru of Narayana Maharaj, his name is Bhakti Pragyan Kashar Maharaj. He gave sannyas to Prabhupada.
yeah.
He left in 68. He said no one should preach that. Only Narayana Maharaj used to do that. Even amongst the Gaudiya Mat, he was the only one doing that. Even Sridhar Maharaj mentioned it's not proper. He was the only one doing it. Even his guru would not do that. So it's not proper. I'm not saying it's not advanced, certainly, but you don't preach Raganugs publicly in the class. You may mention it, yes. Yes, you may quote a few shlokas on this, but you don't start to blow it up, you know. That was not the approach of the Gaudiya, some prayers, the acharyas.
What will you say that so many ISKCON devotees have 1 foot at ISKCON, 1 foot at Narayan Maharaj?
But this is, they haven't fully understood the moon and mission of Prabhupada. So it means to say, implicitly, it means Prabhupada hasn't given everything. This is, if you ask me, a bit offensive. Do you think Prabhupada hasn't given everything? I saw so many people leaving the world in Vrindavan. I remember one lady, Prabhupada disciple. She was, initiated by Srila Prabhupada. Then for decades, she shifted to Narayan Maharaj. And then on the deathbed, even Narayan Maharaj came. I remember in MVT. I was in Vrindavan. I had a flat in MVT. You know MVT?
Yeah, BT. You still
And
have your
then,
flat there?
sorry?
You still have a flat there?
No. Actually, that flat belonged to Rita Madhuri, and then she sold it off. Anyway, I remember going to that lady, and we were taking turns, you know, assisting her, chanting. Quite a few of us. One day, incognito, can you imagine? Narayan Maharaj came. Incognito. He's so famous, but he came because he knew my disciple is leaving the world, you know. Of course, he has to come.
What is his name?
Long
Is it Mataji?
Yeah, she was proper disciple, but she had
I know who is she, yeah.
She had taken shelter of Narayan Maharaj and she was close to him. Huh?
Yeah, I know her very well, yeah.
What's her name again?
I forgot her name, but I know she's a tall Mataji, and
she was very famous.
Yes, twin. Yeah, no, she wrote the book. So
I
yeah,
think
I know.
Isn't it Gauri or forgot?
No, I forgot her name. But I know her very well because she came to North Carolina because she's related. She's related with Mother Urmila.
Is it?
I think her daughter is married to Mother Urmila. Urmila son.
Yeah, I know Urmila. So, and then what happened? Even though he came at the last minute, she told her guru, I'm sorry, I'm taking shelter of Prabhupada now. Last minute, can you imagine? Last minute. And Narayan Maharaj told her, but I came all the way, you know, I just take shelter, you know, I'm here. I said, I'm very sorry, I respect you and all, but Srila Prabhupada is my Sadguru. You know, she had a change of heart on death. And she left the world in thinking of Prabhupada.
Yeah, she had cancer, isn't it?
Oh yeah, she was terminal disease. And she had a dream, I remember. See, I was fortunate enough. I've seen many devotees leaving the world, so that struck me. Men and female alike. Huh? And she had a dream. She told us the dream. She said, I was in front of a huge gate, extremely ornate gate, beautiful gate. And on the other side, the gate, I could see through the gate, very solid gate, beautiful gate. Prabhupada was beckoning her, please come. And she said, on my side, all the devotees were there with me, and Narayana Maharaj. See, very interesting dream. The dream is revealing. Of course, you may say it's a dream, but when you leave your body, you have very powerful dreams, you know.
Mm.
You cannot say it's a whimsical dream. And then
Yeah.
Prabhupada was beckoning her, please come, waving his hand, come. And Narayana Maharaj, she said, was on my side. See? So she got the point. Narayana Maharaj is nowhere near Prabhupada. Great soul, no doubt, but nowhere near. Because they say, you know, well, they won't tell you in the face, but they say implicitly it means, oh, he hasn't given everything. It's ABC, or, you know, we have to go further. I mean, ask Gogolvila Maharaj, who would dare, I've met Gogolvila Maharaj many times, who would dare to tell him, oh, I'm going to Narayana Maharaj because Prabhupada hasn't given everything. Oh, he will be blasted to pieces. You know, even if you are a Prabhupada disciple, Gogolvila Maharaj was so heavy and so Krishna conscious. Look how he left the world.
Yeah.
So, you know, we have to be careful. I know it's a trend. It's a trend. But at least in France now, we have kind of reconciled, you know. They know how to behave now. We had a major feud for decades. Now it's over. So let's go into Atmanivedam, which is the highest, the last one of Navanga Bhakti, as exemplified by Bali Maharaj, the grandson of Prahlad. Yes, so Srila Prabhupada tells us here that the self is, the soul, the self, is differently defined. As we know, Atma means many things. Oftentimes it means the soul, but it may mean the mind or the body. So when we say Atma Nivedanam, it can mean many things. Can mean full bodily surrender. It can mean full mental surrender, or it can mean also full surrender of one's soul, one's self-identity. And then he quotes Yamunacharya. Yamunacharya was the Shiksha Guru of Ramanuj. And in that prayer, Yamunacharya defines Atma as the soul, the possessor of the body. So in that case, it means your Atma Nivedana means you forego your egoistic attachment to the body. And of course, at that level, the devotee is totally unconcerned for his maintenance, you know, what I'm going to eat, where will I sleep tonight? It's totally way beyond. And this is how he prays. Yamunacharya was on that level, obviously. My dear Lord, I may be living within somebody as a human being or demigod. Whatever mode of life, I don't mind, because these bodies are simply byproducts of the three modes. And I, who am I in possession of these bodies, I'm surrendering myself unto you. This is Hari Bhakti Viveka. So do you have any questions on this Atman Nivedanam? Of course, the exemplar of this is Bali. Remember Bali Maharaj? The grandson of Prahlad. You know, in the 8th canto, you see Bali.
Yeah.
You remember he conquered, even though he was a Daitya, he was an Asura. You know the story with Vamdev? he, you know, he asked, he offered 3 steps of land. Vamdev
Yeah.
accepted, and then he could not fulfill his promise. He got bound up. Then finally he said, put your 3rd step on my head.
That Atmani Vedana, mein.
Yeah,
Giving
this is,
everything, nothing.
and he was himself not a devotee. He was not a demigod. He was a Daitya. Daitya means coming from DT. DT is the
Iman.
mother of the Asuras. So, he had no sadhana. It's mentioned there. He had no sadhana. But he had Krishna in his heart, inspired him so much. And he said, this boy is Vishnu. Okay, no problem. I have given my words. I have to fulfill my words.
It's not he has love for Vishnu because his grandfather was great devotee, like Prahlad
Yeah, of
Maharaj.
course, he had some liking. But
Mm.
I read that he had no sadhana. But he had his word of commitment to his word. It may be Vishnu. Sukracharya told him, be careful, this is Vishnu. He said, okay, I gave my word, I have to fulfill my word, full stop. So Vishnu was very pleased. Then offering a favorite article, Nija Priyo Paharanam. So now there's two levels, You offer what you like, and higher would be you offer what Krishna likes. Let's say you like pizza. Oh, I'm going to offer pizza to Krishna, but you do it because you like pizza. This is not very high. Higher would be, I'm going to cook what he likes. This is much higher.
So, how do you know what Krishna really likes?
Well, that song is there, Bhogarati.
Yeah.
That song is quite full.
Yeah, there's all kind of preparation.
I mean, you can go by this list.
It's not that.
I know in my family it's not very high because the boy is there, and my wife, she cooks according to the boy, and I told her, of course she offers, but it's not the same, I told her the boy is not Krishna. But mothers are like the whole life revolves around the child, basically.
Yeah.
And since the boy is Baha Finiki, she knows he's not going to eat that. Yes, this he likes, this he doesn't like. So anyway, what to do? Tadarte Kila Cheshtitam, she performing all types of endeavors for Krishna. It's called the 51st Anga. We have reached the 51st Anga out of 64.
You're reading from.
I'm reading from that book of Danuda Maharaj, Beck.
Is that chapter 10?
No, I'm from to 11.
Oh, yeah, 11. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So with the
We
six.
are practically at the last page. It says Tadarte Kila Cheshtitam, performing all types.
Yeah. Yeah, I find it. Yeah.
So I had Janardhan Prabhu. I don't know if you know. He moved to Thailand. He used to run a Canon agency, a branch of Canon. Canon is a big company. They sell photocopy machine and whatnot. And he used to tell me very frankly, he was a big boss. He had a whole branch of Canon, under him. And he used to tell me, when I chant Hare Krishna, I do better sales. He had so many sales representatives under him. He had to fire them up to sell, quota. And he used to tell me, long back, 20 years ago, perhaps, it's very simple for me. Tell me, when I chant good rounds, I do better results for my company. So, it's not very high, but this is Tadarte Kila Cheshtitam. He had deal with Krishna. And Krishna was holding him like this. Send your rounds, you will get better results. So it's not very high, we know, but at least he was offering the fruits, and he used to give donation to Krishna. I remember he was quite rich. He had a Porsche, a Porsche car. His brother, his big brother, his Papa disciple, is still alive. His name is forgetting his name.
You're French devotee?
Yeah, Janardhan was a French guy, and his brother is Adishakar. He's French also. He's proper disciple. He has children now who has also children. So Adishakar is grandfather.
They're still around?
Adishakar is in the south of France. He's getting old now. He must be 75, 80. Yeah? And Janardhan moved way long ago. He moved to Thailand. He was quite into, he was a bit of a Vishahi also, woman. And
yeah.
But he had a good heart, but the problem was when you have a lot of opulence, Bhogeshvarya Prashaktanam, he had this lifestyle of opulence, and sense gratification. So I don't know what happened to him now. Next, Sharanapati, being a surrendered soul. So they draw a distinction between Atmanivedanam and Saranapati. Yeah, it's not the same according to the Acharya. Sharanapati means you are subservient and protected by Krishna. Atmanivedanam means self-dedication. But the difference is that dedication, you may or may not be accompanied by feelings of subservience and dependence, So obviously, Saranapati is deeper. Because not only you dedicate yourself, but you have a feelings of subservience and dependence. It's higher, actually. And Bali, see, this is very interesting. Bali was on Atmanivedanam. He didn't have this Sharanapati. You follow?
He was not dependent on Krishna, yeah.
He was. I read also, I remember that he had no sadhana. Actually, Bali Maharaj is an example of kripacity. It's very, very, very rare. He got it out of the blue. It's like coming to him.
Causeless mercy, yeah.
Causeless mercy is very rare. You have Nitya Siddha, Sadhana Siddha, and then Kripa Siddha. It's very rare. Then Tadiyanam Savanam Tulasya. Obviously, we know Tulasi is the mother of Bhakti, so we should definitely. Okay, so let's get into chapter 12. We are dealing with the 11 final items. Yatha Vaishnav Mahotsav. Yeah, we should not only go, it's an offense not to go to the temple, let's say on Jamastami, or soon we're going to have Go Punim, We should take the day off. Even if you work, take the day off, finish. Or let's say we are 500 kilometers from the temple, okay? But at least we should perform at home something substantial, Then Urja Vrat, that's for Kartik Vrat. That's very important, as you know. And Jiva Goswami explained, even if you have no bhakti that time, it's a special time, Urja Vrat, it will be accepted. Then Shri Janma Dina Yatra. This is specifically for Jamastami. Shri Janma Dina Yatra. Of course, we have to take the day off, do full-on service that day to Krishna. quoted from Bhavishya Puran. It started like this, actually. Yeah? In the beginning, they asked Mother Devaki, when did you give birth to Krishna? So from that time onwards, we will observe a great celebration. It started like this. And now we're coming to it's just going to be the delineation of the Panchanga Bhakti now. The whole next chapter, chapter 13, will be dedicated to one after another, the Panchanga Bhakti. Very deeply we will go into the 5. Now, for the time being, they are just listed. Yeah, so Prabhupada is saying here that the next chapter will be dealing with the Panchanga Bhakti. They are already mentioned to show their effectiveness in evoking devotion. There's a footnote, so let me check the footnote, what it says. 44. Yeah, it's mentioned, they are mentioned twice, so much they're important. Okay, so 60, item 60, serving the deity with great devotion. It sounds like 30, by the way, Archana. 61, it's called Bhagavat Shravan, recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam amongst devotees. 54, hearing the revealed scriptures. 62, associating with advanced devotees. 56, rendering service. 63, Namruchi, chanting the name of the Lord. Sounds like 33, Sankirtan. 64, living in Mathura, and 55. You can see some items among the 64 are a bit redundant, I would say. So now it's just, we are briefly going over them. We're not going to go deep. It will be in the next chapter, we'll go very deep. Mathura Vrindavan. Yeah, so obviously if you live, I don't know, you have been living in the Dham before?
Yeah.
Where?
Yeah, I lived 6 months. I was in Vrindavan.
Wow. For long?
Yeah, I lived, 6 months I was there. Then I was there one time, 2 months. One
Wonderful.
time, like few weeks. Then
Yeah.
lately I was sick. My desire is to go and stay in Vrindavan. I don't know when Radharani will
Yeah,
allow me.
you should, what's keeping you, if I may ask?
Well, right now, like if I go there, I can stay only 6 months. I'm trying to get
Oh, I see, because of your,
because I'm not Indian.
oh, you should get your, what do you call it, OCI, just like I have
Okay.
OCI.
This I have to go to Mauritius.
You get OCI, I've got OCI.
I had
Everyone
to
has
go to
OCI.
Mauritius and just do it, and
Do it.
and now, I'm waiting,
all you have to do is to prove that your your ancestors were Indian.
ancestors were, yeah.
If you can prove that, it's okay. They will give you.
Yeah. You have OCI,
I've got OCI, Aritoshan, my wife, because now what happened is she's no more Indian. She lost.
Still also Indian.
So lucky I was smart for once. I did it when she was still Indian.
Oh.
See, that was my trick. Perhaps 2015. I applied for me and my boy. And then down the road, she lost her Indian citizen. She had to choose. Indians are very strict. They're a little
Yeah, they don't take dual. I'm dual. I'm American plus I am Mauritian.
That's great. But Indians, I don't know why, they're quite stubborn, So she had to choose. So I told her, be a little smart, take French, and you get OCI like me. Finish.
Yeah.
And she did. And now she's got everyone is OCI in French passport.
And she was born in India, isn't it?
She was born in India, but she's been here for since 2009. That's a long, long time.
Mm.
But she doesn't like French. She wants to go back. She hates it here. Just quit.
You're
So
thinking to go back to
yeah, personally, I will. If Krishna warns me, I will preferably die in India. Yeah, but
Mayapur? Mayapur or Vrindavan?
I used to live in Mayapur, but I was way before, before the temple and all these things.
Yeah, yeah.
So I have very sweet memory of Mayapur, and now I don't know. It has changed so much. I will decide at that time. But to go back to India, to make a living, it's tough for Videshi. If you don't make, if you don't speak the language, you're kind of stuck. It's great for spiritual life, but you need money in India.
But if you get some money coming like from here,
Like
from France,
how?
you don't get pension there in France?
Yeah, man, I'm still too young.
Too young.
I
You
will
have to be
ask, well,
65 or something.
I think a little more, 67, 68, I will ask, but I'm 63.
Mm.
Because, they're very tricky. I know devotees older than me. There's two types of pension in France. There's partial pension and complete pension. If you have complete pension, they will leave you alone. But if you have partial pension, they will force you to come back every 6 months.
Oh, every 6 months. Yeah.
They're very tricky. They know. Some people just move out and they get the pension and they just on the other side of the planet. So to prevent that,
Mm.
they want to see your face every 6 months or something.
Yeah.
So they're very tricky. So I know devotees, that's what they do, the 6 months, 6 months, 6 months, 6 months. So, but once you have your complete pension, which is around 67, I think, in France, then they leave you alone. Which is not much. It's like 900 euros.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, that's my desire, just to live in Vrindavan.
Yeah, you should make arrangement gradually. You should unfold things. I mean,
Yeah.
how do you say? Fold up, I mean, prepare.
Mm.
Because, I mean, the West is, Papa used to say, it's,
Yeah, it's okay. As long as you can preach or something, yeah, it's all right. But
yeah, it's also true.
when you get older, you're not like.
Yeah, true. It's not easy.
Mm.
For me, I
Anyway,
don't preach much. I just teach. But there's a difference between teaching and preaching.
mm.
Because I teach mostly to devotees, so I help them in their spiritual life. But preachers are different. They distribute books.
Yeah, they go out and meet new people. Yeah.
Yeah, I do books once in a while, like marathon. I did some books, but my dharma is more like teaching. So I don't consider myself a preacher actually, because preacher means you are out there, every day in, day out. You are quite on the
Yeah. Do
taking
they do
risks.
Harinam a lot there in France?
Yeah, they have Harinam every Saturday afternoon in Mayapur. They go all the way to Tours, which is quite far. I don't know why they go so far. It's like 80 kilometers, can you imagine? Up and down is 160 just to do Harinam.
So who maintains the temple there in New Mayapur? Is a devotee
They
maintaining it?
have donors, they have members. But it's
Because
just,
not Indian community like in America, most of the temples
not much.
by Indian community there, like in Europe, it's not like
Yes, the manner is different. In UK, you have rich
yeah,
Indians.
yeah, yeah.
They came out 1 century ago. you know,
Yeah.
or perhaps at least in the 40s, 50s. But in France, in terms of Indians, you get refugees, political refugees,
Mhm.
Bangladeshis, Tamil. They are just paupers.
Yeah.
You know, they're just. So you don't get rich, and we have a basically we survive by Krishna's grace, but nowhere near the big temples like Mana or Mana makes £5 million a year. You follow?
By donation.
£5 million.
Hmm.
It's huge. I mean, they are rolling in cash. So New Mayapur is more low profile. You know, we are, it's much better, definitely, from what it used to be. By Krishna's the grace of Jananand Maharaj. You know,
Hmm.
he's I don't know if you know him. He has been quite involved since for the last.
Ananda Maharaja.
He's from UK, and he's very involved in France now for the last 6, 7 years. So he has done tremendous work. He has pushed book distribution. He brought many disciples from all over the world. You know, from Australia and but so it's picking up, but it's going to take some time, you know, to basically it's such a big place. It's mostly we have to fill the gap. We have to bring people on board. It's huge. It's 100 hectares, you know.
Devotee of buying land there.
Yeah, you can buy. You can buy small houses. It's too small for me, but like 50 square meters, you know. You can buy. I think they are going to build 32. Yeah. And the good thing is the mayor here where I live has met Prabhupada, you know.
Hmm.
The mayor of the city he met Prabhupada when he was a kid.
Oh.
Yeah, because Prabhupada came in 76, yeah. So he's quite favorable, you know. When you talk to him, you say Hare Krishna. He's Haribol.
That's nice.
He's the mayor of the city, of the village, you know. He's a nice guy.
So you live a little bit off the farm
I live 5, 6 kilometers from the temple. I've got, I live in next door village.
next door village.
Yeah. For me, it's a bit difficult now to live on the premises, you know. I did it 20 years, but
I know a certain time.
especially my wife is she's not a temple devotee, you know.
Mm,
She was not trained like us, you know. She just
mm,
came untrained, and she's more like a housewife, you know, and
mm.
she's not so much focused on all these things. She can cook, definitely. Anyway, so let's finish it off. Where are we? Mathura Vrindavan.
Mathura Vrindavan.
Yeah, so yeah, of course, if you live in a holy place, it's fine. It's as good. But for me, I mean, once you have tasted India, you know, especially for a long, long time, it's not comparable. You know.
Yeah. Like you said, everything happened when we got the permission to come there.
It's true. It's very true. And if you're not well situated, I think I was when I left it because Krishna was not happy or something. Most probably. Can you imagine? I was in Mayapur for 10 years flat. 90,
Long.
97 up to 2007. So you know,
Mm,
if you perform, if you commit mistakes or a parade or something, you may be kicked out. I guess that's what happened to me. So it's not easy. I agree. You may go to Vrindavan for a few weeks, but to stay there, it's a mercy. It's a special mercy. Okay, so worshiping trees, tulsi, this we know. Singing, chanting, sankirtan, jap. I think what they're doing here, they're just crisscrossing the different items together, because as I said, many items are kind of similar. Archana, rendering service, offering prayers, remembrance. Okay, we'll stop here anyway because I don't want to get into Panchanga Bhakti now because it's such a lofty topic,
Yeah.
We'll keep it for next time.
Yeah.
Okay, so you all set. You gave me your essays, and write an essay on this section if you want, on this what you call it, lector devotion.
So you need 2 essay also?
It's a good question. Let
devotion?
me check. I forgot. Let me check the. Let me check. I forgot. I think one is enough. Let me check. I always get mixed up. NOD. Yeah, you're right. 2 essays. Yeah. So we covered together. We covered what? We covered Gita and Shri Show.
Yeah.
So we are kind of touching. I mean, the end. Practically. NOD is but 6 chapters left.
Mm.
Then NOI is only 11 verses.
Mm.
So it should just take a few months. Then you're all set.
Yeah.
And then if you want, you can embark on BV. I've got a BV group going in English.
How many students you got?
Huh?
How many students you got?
I've got 4.
Mm.
It's English. If you want, what I can do is let you join when we touch the 2nd canto. We are into Quinconti now, 1st canto. Because if you join now, it's you're going to be a bit off of balance.
Actually, at the temple, we've been restarting Bhagavatam. Now we're doing.
Oh, they're doing BV there. They're doing BV.
No, not BV. It's just a regular temple Bhagavatam.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, we started the 1st canto. Now we're chapter 16.
Good.
Yeah.
So do it. Anyway, it's up to you. If you want to join, you let me know. I will find a way. Okay, Goloka, all the best.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
See you
Yeah.
next time.
Okay.
It's still me next time. It looks like Chandra is quite busy those days.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.